because I don't know of another situation where this has happened, where any entity, whether it's the U.S. government, large corporation, says, okay, you may sue us. We're going to basically change the law to open ourselves up for liability and exposure here because we know that there's claims and injuries out there that need to be taken care of. I think the fact that these were veterans obviously helped, push that through, which is a good thing. I mean, obviously we need to help these people. But I don't know of another situation where this has happened. So this is sort of, a unicorn event in terms of
certainly
a claim or law or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, can you tell us a little bit, like, how does the act actually work, the mechanics of it? Mm-hmm. What does a claim actually look like if, what's passed or signed here actually ends up going into effect?
So I do want to say this actually goes back probably about 10 years to when the VA first started covering some of these illnesses. And that's kind of led the push to get to where we are now. So the Camp Lejeune Justice Act does exactly what you just said. It creates a new federal cause of action against the federal government, in federal court, So it says that if you follow these parameters, which we'll get to in a minute, then you may have a claim against the federal government for damages that arose from this contamination. And they even set the court that it's going to be in, which is the Eastern District of North Carolina. It's one district of the federal district court. And again, it set parameters, and it also set a statute of limitations. So the parameters are this. If you were on base, so it includes service members, their family, it includes construction workers, it includes any other civilian workers that happen to be there, and it includes even in utero people who were not born. And if you were there for 30 days, or you were exposed for 30 days, you may not have had to live there, but if you were, say, a construction worker on a project and you were there for more than 30 days, then that's the second checkbox, The third one would be that it's within a time period. And that time period is August of 1953, I believe, to the end of 1987. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you were at Camp Lejeune for more than 30 days, and you were there between 1953 and 1987. And so if you fall into that, and then you also have a disease, and there's a list of diseases that the VA already knows are related, and then there's a list of diseases that the CDC already know are related. So if you have one of those diseases and you can show that it's at least more likely than not that that disease or that cancer was caused by this exposure, then you are in the class of people who have a claim against the government. Okay. Now, as far as the process, I told you it has a statute of limitations. They set a 2-year statute of limitations to bring the suit, 2 years or 6 months after you are declined by the government. And what that means is that you have to file a claim with the Department of the Navy, Just like any other personal injury. If you get hit by a mail truck, if you anything like that, you have to file a claim, an administrative claim with that department of the government, requesting compensation, just like if you get hit by a car and you try to get compensation from the insurance company first. So the 2 years or 6 months from the denial of your claim with the Department of the Navy. So that's kind of the where. So if you fit into these criteria, you have this disease, a doctor says that it's more likely than not that it was caused by this exposure. And again, that's bolstered by the VA and the CDC. Then you have 2 years to bring your claim from the day that it becomes law. So it hasn't started yet, but it may before this podcast comes out. Mm-hmm. And 2 years to the day, again, suits have to be filed in the Eastern District of North Carolina. But we're hoping that some of these, maybe all of them, we don't really know, this is all new, may be handled at that administrative level with the Department of the Navy. So that's kind of the act. It's very brief. It's less than a page. It's probably one of the shortest pieces of legislation Congress has ever passed. But fortunately, it seems like everybody read it.
And one of the few recently with bipartisan support.
Yes, exactly. Fortunately, I think everyone read it, and there's a lot of bipartisan support for it. So that is the Camp Lejeune Justice Act. And like I said, we are all anxiously awaiting it to be signed into law so that some of these people can start to get some sort of compensation for, honestly, some of the worst things that possibly could happen. I mean,
Yeah.
of these cancers are some of the worst you could ever have.
Yeah, these are painful, horrible
Yeah.
illnesses, oftentimes fatal. If not fatal, just incredibly debilitating. And these are people who have been fighting for justice for 20, 30 years in some cases.
Certainly. Yeah.
And for those people to know and understand that finally there's like some light at the end of the tunnel and some hope to actually bring a claim has got to be really exciting. But it's also got to be somewhat discouraging to see just the amount of, sharks circling